right, so this is my friend Sarah.
Hello.
Sarah has a YouTube channel, which the name is
Cruisin' Junior.
Cruisin' Junior, and I'll put links to that up above here and then down below, of course. And Sarah's story is a little bit more interesting to me, I think, because of the fact that I think most of us think about getting into van life. Most people get into van life either because they have a lot of money and they can afford to do it, or because they don't have any money and they're forced into it. But your story's a little bit different.
Yeah. I was always really excited about tiny home living. I always really wanted to build just a tiny little house for me to live in, but the logistics are just a pain.
Right.
And you have to have a place to build it. You have to know how to build a house. Like, these are all things that's like, I could figure it out, but the longevity in terms of a person who's never done that before doing it is just ridiculous. And I wanted it fast. I'm just not a patient person when it comes to where I want to live and what I want. So I was in Vermont visiting my sister, and I met a person who lives in a van, and it kind of was like, what? This is what I want. Not only, because I mean, traveling around with a tiny home is difficult. Traveling around in a van is like driving a van.
Right.
I mean, a little bit heavier in my case, but my whole life was like, oh my gosh, I can have what I want and it can travel easier, and this just makes sense. So as soon as I met this person and saw their van and spent a little time in it, I was like, I want this. And so I started looking for a van, and fortunately it took me less than a year, but it didn't take me a couple weeks. I was looking. I was being particular. I knew exactly what I wanted. I wanted a bathroom. I wanted a shower, preferably.
Okay.
And so when I came across my 1994 Islander Supreme, I was like, this is it. This is what I want. And I went and I saw it, and I said, now I don't have to pay rent. But
yeah, that's great.
I mean, that's the biggest thing for me, is the lifestyle. People are like, oh, well, I don't have the money for it. I was like, you'll have the money for it faster if you just get a small loan for it and then move in and pay your rent. Your rent will be your car payment,
right,
which is way smaller than at least where I'm from, Southern California. Rent's ridiculous.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, so I'm not rich. I still have to work. I don't live on vacation. As my expenses went from over $2,000 when I was living somewhere.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
To sometimes when I'm being really, thrifty, I can get it to like $350 for a month. But I mean, it's usually roughly around $500, a little more, a little less. But obviously this is when I'm not traveling constantly. Gas is the biggest expense living in a van. But in terms of just life expenses, I'm saving so much money. So I don't have to sit here and be like, I gotta work to the bone because I gotta afford all my debt and all my bills and all this. It's like, I get to be like, how much is it gonna cost me to eat and live comfortably this month? Not much. Let's go pick up a gig off Craigslist. Or I have a friend with a friend who needs a pet sitter, which I'm very good at, by the way. So if you need a pet sitter and I'm in town, call me. But
so this is how you find work, apparently.
I go on YouTube channels
YouTube
and beg
interviews.
for work. No. Most of my jobs since I've been living in the van have either been friends who need work, but they just don't need somebody. Like, I have people, I worked on airplanes for a while back in San Diego. I have friends who are airplane mechanics. Done caretaking for, when I was in Vermont, I found a gig on Craigslist helping take care of an elderly woman while they were on vacation. So I did that for a few weeks, and I did glamour camping, like setup. Found that on Craigslist. Right now I'm in Central Oregon pet sitting because I have a friend here who knew somebody who needed a pet sitter, and I was up here anyway. So it's like, it's a lot of word of mouth. It's not, and I could apply for basic normal jobs that everybody else works for if I'm somewhere for a long period of time,
Mm-hmm.
which I definitely consider, and will probably do at some point. But so far, it's just been picking up gigs here and there to make sure that I'm supplementing. I need the income. I don't have something I'm sitting on where I'm like, I can just live however I want for the rest of my life. I'm not retired age.
Okay, right. That's what I found interesting, that you're kind of in the middle of that whole, you don't have to do this, but you're not a trust fund baby.
Oh, hell no.
Right.
Heck no. Is hell okay? I don't know.
That's fine. But
yeah, definitely not a trust fund baby.
But you're open to working whatever, it sounds
whatever. Although I'm not opposed to, like, I'm drawn to the idea of a job, a remote job, that I don't have to be like, oh, I hope wherever I am has a gig for me if I do need money. It would be nice to have something set up to where I could just be like, all right, I got to spend 4 hours on my computer today, but at least I don't have to worry like, oh, I have to go here or there because they actually have work available for me.
So you don't have to chase down work like some of us do, but you still are looking for that kind of ultimate, perfect job that give you some income.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think it's always that drawback. I'm still relatively new to van life. I haven't been living a usual live in a house life for about 2 years, but I've only had my van for a little over a year. I was in my Prius before, and I was just cross country visiting friends and stuff, and so I had their brick and mortar, but it wasn't mine. I was still pretty...
You were kind of couch surfing.
I was couch surfing, essentially,
okay.
Before I figured out the whole van thing was a thing. Right. And so for me, I always find myself being like pulled back into like, oh, but you have to be doing this particular thing because that's what society expects of you. So I can feel that, like, I feel really bad about myself because I'm not what I'm expected to be. Mm-hmm. And I do get in those moments where I'm like, oh, I have to find something more permanent or something that will be just constant. But at the same time, then I wake up and I go, why? I'm fine. What I'm doing is working. I'm not in a position where I'm like, I'm not going to eat today if I don't go do something. I'm not there. And I mean, I'm not just... Everyone can be surprised with something and they could end up in a position like that.
Right.
And by no fault of their own a lot of the time.
Right.
But I'm very particular that when I sit here and I go, this is what I have, but I should still be working. Mm-hmm. I should still try and make something. Mm-hmm. Because I never know when something might happen and I'll have to use that. And then what?
Right.
Then I'm not eating and I can't fix my vehicle.
Right.
So, keeping that mindset, I just always have to kind of remind myself, like, it's okay. What I'm doing is okay. I don't have to be this cookie cutter 9-to-5 job or trust fund baby or whatever. I don't have to be anything. I can be exactly who I am and live the way I'm living, and it's working for me. And it could work for a lot of other people, and it does work for a lot of other people. It's just you have to find what works for you and stop comparing yourself to what other people expect. Van lifers or otherwise. Like, there's always somebody who has an expectation of who you ought to be. Right. If you're not like me, then something's wrong with you. No, nothing's wrong with you. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right. And good on you for it.
So with that in mind, how's your family feel about you living in a van?
A lot of them think it's really cool. And I'm talking like my family who is a little bit wealthier and lives like the big house, mm-hmm. fancy lifestyle. Mm-hmm. They're like, that's rad. I want to do that. And then I have other family members who are just like, well, one family member, Dad, shouldn't you get yourself something what are you going to do for retirement? Blah, blah, blah. And it's an understandable thing, but it's also, is our retirement even going to be there for us anyway? Even if we're working for it? I don't know, maybe. And it's not that I don't, try and save up. Life is too short to be that worried about it. I'm okay. Sure. Right now, I'm okay.
Sure.
And I'm a very fortunate person. I have a lot of privilege. I can go somewhere and get some kind of work if I really need to and really want to. And at this point, I don't want to, and I don't need to, and that's okay.
I think that's great. Yeah, better than okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So these are two of the reasons that you have a little special circumstance, and
The
you've got
third
another
reason
another
is right
reason
down there.
So Chloe's down below, and then this is
Pip.
And Hunter.
Hunter.
Okay.
Fix your ear. You're on camera.
And so how is it living in a van? I mean, it is an RV, but how is it living in a van with animals, pets?
You have to concern yourself with more than just, I want to go here. Can I park there? Am I going somewhere that they can come with me? And if they can't and they have to stay in the vehicle, is it something that, is it going to be something where it's worth going to because they can't go to this particular national park, but are you going to be gone so long that it's not cool to leave your dog in a vehicle that long anyway? So, I mean, there's been a lot of places that I just haven't gone because it's like, I'm not going to be able to enjoy it the way that I want to because I'm going to be worried about my dogs and I'm going to want to be gone too long. So in order to do that, those are the times where I'm like, can I find a sitter?
Oh, okay.
And
so you can find...
You can find sitters. I know there's a lot of vanners who have used Rover, which is a pet sitter. You basically go, I need a pet sitter, and they're like, ding, this person's available. I was a pet sitter for 10 years.
Okay.
I'm particular about who I leave my dogs with.
Right.
I don't want some random, Uber driver to take my dogs. I don't know you.
Right.
Sure I can ride. I don't know. I haven't gotten to that level of comfort yet. So instead of calling a pet sitter, I just go, not going.
Right.
Unless I know someone in town and I'm like, hey, can I leave my dogs in your driveway or whatever?
Right.
In the van, not just on the driveway. But unless I know the person, I just don't do anything really. And I'm okay with that right now. Eventually, I'm going to have to figure out a situation that'll allow me to see things and go places I want to go that the dogs can't go and have them taken care of without me just being like, guess my life can't have that in it because these guys are here. So.
But to be clear, so I know you, but to be clear about it, you like spending time with the dogs. It's not like you're trying to get away, and it's not a huge inconvenience.
Oh, no, not at all. For me, my life, the enrichment of my life involves these guys. Like, I'm happier with them in my life. If it's like, oh, I can't go see the arches because my dogs, I'm like, who gives? I got my dogs.
Right. So that's cool, yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
No, it's fine. There hasn't been any times where I'm just like, oh, these dogs are ruining my life. It's more like, that's cool. Lives are different. We don't all have to do the same cool thing. Like,
sure.
I'm doing cool stuff with my dogs.
So even with your animals, you still have lots of opportunities of doing stuff that you want to do.
Totally.
So.
I love hiking. They love hiking.
Okay.
There are times where if the hike is going to be a little more extreme, I'll take them with me. I have a backpack and I'll stick them in my backpack.
Oh, okay.
Or I'll just carry them. They're light enough that it's cool. But if it's going to be continuously treacherous, I won't take them because I want to be able to have fun. And if Chloe needs help, I want to have my arms free to help her. I like to give them personal time. They each get to go on their own little adventures. But when we go on big ones, usually all three of them just come. And it just... A usual hike that would take a person by themselves or with a physically very capable dog could take them an hour. We're over there for like 4 because we get lost. This guy can't see as well, so if I get too far ahead, he'll run in the opposite direction and I gotta chase him down and be like, no, I'm still here, we gotta go this way. And this guy likes to venture off and his hearing is going, so then I'm like, oh my god, now I have to chase you down because you can't hear me calling you. And it's an adventure. We walk slowly, but we get to see everything, and we almost get to appreciate things more because we're not just getting our sweat on and powering through or anything. Right. Our exercise is very chill and laid back.
That's interesting because I think one of the things that kind of drew me to van life was just slowing life down. Mm-hmm. So you kind of are slowing your life down living in a van, and then you're slowing your life down a little bit more.
Right.
Because you got some older dogs. I wonder if that's going to come on camera.
It totally will.
Will it? Yeah.
Chloe's doing her dinosaur roll where she's on her back and just making the noise.
So that's cool. Yeah. So dogs are doable if you make a few concessions. You can absolutely have your little family with you.
I can have my family with me. Yeah, you just have to decide what's more important to you, and dogs have always been the most important part of my life, and without them I would go nuts. Okay. So for me, whatever I have to do to make sure that they're happy and healthy and taken well care of, along with whatever I want in life, those have to mesh for it to be a good fit for me.
Okay.
And I'm happy that way.
Well, thank you for inviting me down and sitting down and talking.
Thanks for coming.
You're
It's
welcome.
been fun.
Yeah, it's been great picking your brain, because I always get a lot more perspective on my life and what I'm doing by talking to other people.
Totally.
So, yeah.
Definitely.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.
All right. Please check out Sarah's channel. There'll be links to her channel below, and to keep up with her. And
I'm a newbie, so don't expect a lot of amazing content.
But you got great dogs.
I have great dogs.
And
they
they're
are the quality of my content. I like how you said it as if we planned it. We rehearsed this B-roll, and that was a good one. And cut. Oh! Good B-roll. Good B-roll.